Hi, today I want to go over your assignment with you. I feel like it's towards the end of the 9 weeks, and I want to make sure that everyone can get a good grade. So hopefully you tried these on your own, but let's go over and see what we can figure out together. So I wanted you to create a module called Turtle Functions, and I know for some of you this is still a really new idea. So let's take a look at the outline of this module. We have Turtle Functions, as I'm calling it that. Mine's actually Turtle Func 2 because I already made a Turtle Functions, so instead of give it a different name. I'm just going to go ahead and import the entire Turtle module from Turtle Import Star. And our goal today is to make two functions. Remember that a function we have to define using def. We must have these parentheses, and today we're going to be dealing with parameters. C for color and R for radius. Let's take a look at our first assignment. It says fill circle, a function that takes two parameters. A string representing a color. Remember, string is like a word. It turns out green. You put quotes around it. And a radius. The function should make and fill a circle with the turtle of the radius and color sent in the parameters. So what we're going to do is we're going to be working on making a circle and filling it inside with the color that they gave us. So C is a color, okay? I don't know what color it is, but I know it's a color. And radius is a number. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the turtle, and we're using that default turtle, okay? We're going to set its color to C. So I'm going to say color C. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set it to begin fill. So begin fill, open close parentheses. And then I'm going to make my circle. So I say circle, and I give it the radius here. And then I will end fill. And we don't need to worry about putting it back to the color they had before. I think that's fine. And there we go. Let's try out that. Now I've got this method down here, or function, excuse me. I'm just going to write pass for now, so that just means I'm not doing anything yet. Otherwise, we'd get a syntax error. All right, so I've run our module, okay, and I want to make it to where I can see both my module's code and the turtle drawing graphics at the same time. So let's call fill circle, and our fill circle command takes a color. I'm going to give it red, and a radius. I'm going to give it let's say 150. And you can see it brings up my Python turtle graphics window, makes a circle, and fills it in red. Let's go ahead and change our color back to black. I am going to turn right 90, and I think I'll go forward 100. And then from here, I'll just say fill circle again with a blue and maybe just 100. No, 120. I want a little bit of an overlap. So let's see what happens here. Oh, I didn't get the overlap. Oh well. So it makes another circle and fills it in. So you see we've added a new kind of function. You know, we've always had circle available to us. It comes preloaded, but we've added our own fill circle. And in that function, we call some of the other functions to help us get it done. All right. The next function I want to do is make flowers. Now, it turns out this one you can make it pretty difficult depending on how hard you want to work at it. I'm giving you basically some pretty general ideas. I want a petal to where it's longer than it is wide. So I made these short legs here to be twice or half the length of the longer sides. Now your flower doesn't have to look exactly like mine, and this is just a result of me doing a certain one. And I have mine make in a certain kind of order, but as you increase the number of petals, we're all going to get interesting designs. So don't worry if yours didn't look exactly like mine. But let's try and make this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my function to have the turtle turn down about, I'd say about 30 degrees. Then it will go in this direction for 20, and then I'm going to have it turn left back that 30 degrees. And that's kind of how I'm going to do it. But before I go too far into making this flower petal, I'm going to practice to where I can get the code just right. So I'm going to clear. Just type in clear, C-L-E-A-R. And that clears out your turtle graphics windows. I can also say reset, and it even changes the color back to black and moves my turtle back to the middle of the screen. So I'm imagining, how am I going to draw this little hexagonal petal? Well, first I want to try turning right 30 degrees and going forward 20. Then I'm going to turn left back that 30 degrees and go forward 40. Then I'm going to turn left 30 degrees again and go forward 20. Then I'll try. Now, how much should I turn left here? Well, there's lots of different right answers, but I'm going to try 120 and see if I like that. And go forward 20. Then left 30. Then forward 40. Then left 30 again. And then forward 20. But I want to make sure I end up facing the direction that I started. So I'm going to try turning left another 120. Well, not quite, right? Because I'm still pointed down. So I must have to do 150. And now I'm started right back where I was. So if I can make it do all this code, and instead of doing left 120, left 30, I'll do left 150, then I'll make a perfect little petal. So let's try that. So you might be wondering, well, how did I come up with all these numbers? Well, I just, I kind of thought about it, and then I experimented. I'm just not showing you all the experiments, but trust me, I didn't want this video to be 15 minutes long. We'll sit there and try out different amounts of turning, but I knew that I wanted my lines to connect, and I wanted it to be somewhat symmetrical, so I used this different geometry amounts to just kind of find what works, play with it. And that's why I do it in the interactive shell, to find the one I like. So let's go back up to the top, since this was just the way I like it. And remember, when you're playing with it, you can always hit reset to put it back to the way it started. So we're going to say right 30, forward. I feel like it's a little small, so I'm going to double my numbers, or not double, but I'll do 30 and 60 instead of 20 and 40. Okay, so forward 30. Then we're going to go left 30. So that's when it went down, and then it's about to go straight again. So I'll say forward. This time I'll go for the long edge. We'll do 60. Then left 30, and then forward 30 again. Then we did the big left turn to go all the way to the left to come back. And I'll do forward 30 again. Then we did a left, we did left 30 before going our big forward, which this time I'm going to use 60 instead of 30. And then we did one more left 30 degrees, and then I'll do forward 30 pixels. And then finally we did this big left turn. We found that 120 wasn't quite enough, so I'll do 150. All right. Now every time I run this module, nothing happens because I didn't write a main. So I still have to say make flower to get it to run. And this isn't going to make a flower, but it should make a petal. Oh, I forgot to give it another petal, even though. So there we go. I said you have to give it a value because we have a number of petals right here, right? This is going to be how many petals to make, and so I say 5. So basically all I need to do to make this work perfectly now is to put this all in a loop. So I'll say for I in range, and that's whatever number I put here, it's going to do it that many times. Well, I want it to do petals because that's the number that you put right there. And so I'll go down, and I'm going to tab all that over. But I don't want my petal to be drawn over and over and over again in the same spot. So I'm going to turn 360 degrees divided by the number of petals. So after I line it up, then I'll turn it one more time. Now, you may have noticed I have to keep typing in the name of the function down here in order to get it work. I do want to make sure I go over how to do that another way. So I just run the module. Nothing happens because there's no main, and everything's in a function. There's no code outside of it. So I will go ahead and just say make flower. And let's try 3 this time. And you see it kind of makes that 3-sided thing. Cool. Let me reset. And then if you press the up arrow on your keyboard, by the way, you can pull up, keep pressing it, and you can pull up previous code. Let's check the 4. And so this should, yeah, north, south, east, west. All right. How about, you know what, though? I'm going to speed up my turtle. I'm going to set the speed to 0, which is the fastest speed. 1 is the slowest. It goes up to 9, and there's a special reserve 0 for fast as you can. So then make flower, and I'm going to do 12. Pretty cool, huh? All right. Now, let's do, again, I'll do speed 0. Make flower 30. Makes a pretty cool shape, right? Okay, just a couple more things I want to go over. Nothing happens when I run my module because I don't have any code that's not in a function, which is a good thing. That's the way it should be. If you're just wanting to test out your function, you can always just put a line of code towards the end after the function is created. And then when you run it, it'll now do that thing. And you'll see mine's going to make a 5-petal flower because I had a call to that function outside my code. And that's kind of how we started at the beginning, but that's really not good programming habits. So let's do something a little better. Let's put it in a main. So we say def main, and then we can put anything we want. And this is kind of like your test. You know, you can think of test as like main is like a tester module that allows you to make sure, a tester function, excuse me, that allows you to make sure that you like your work because other people are going to get to import it and use it. And then now I can call it by saying main. And it calls my work. But we could still do even better than that because we can make main be run automatically upon running the module. And we do that like this. You say if underscore underscore, that's 2 underscores, name underscore underscore equals main, then run the main function. And so that's kind of that's the way to make it automatically run it for you. The last thing I want to do is I want to do something kind of fun. I want to show you how we've learned lists. Now, this is probably going to be a little advanced for some of you, and that's okay. But we've learned lists, and I want to show you how we can use lists to make this kind of exciting. So what I'm going to do in the make flower petals is I'm going to create a list. I'm going to say a list called colors, and we make a list by doing that. And I'm going to put in my list several different colors: red, green, blue. There's a color called gold. Yellow, and orange. So this will have kind of a reddish, orangish, goldish hue, but I do have a blue and green in there. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it change color one at a time through these colors. So I want you to watch how I do that. I'm going to call the color function, and I'm going to call it with a value from my colors list. And the way you get a value from your list is you do bracket and you put the one you want. Like this would be red because the first index is 0. That would be green, blue. Well, I'm going to give it colors I. And so then it'll be red, green, blue, gold, yellow, orange. But I'm going to say, you know, if I equals, so I is going to go from 0 all the way up. Well, the highest index here is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have a problem here. We have not. I don't want to do if I. I'm sorry. The problem is that if I go past 5. It's going to go out of bounds. I'm going to have color 6, 7, 8, etc., and those don't exist. So watch what I do. I'm going to say %len colors. And that's kind of weird, but what the % sign does is it's called the modulo operator. The modulo operator returns the remainder from doing long division. So the length of my colors is 6. So is I, which will go from 0 up to the number of petals, say they put in 30 petals, I will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you divide any number 0 through 5 by 6, you will get that number for a remainder. For example, you divide 4 by 6. 6 goes into 4 0 times with a remainder of 4. Once we reach 6, though, 6 no longer has a remainder. It's back to 0. 6 divided by 6 is 1 with a remainder of 0. And remember, this operator gives the remainder, not the division, not the quotient. So when x is 7, 7 divided by 6 is 1 with a remainder of 1. And as I continues to grow, let's say I becomes, let's say we're at 17. What would this be at 17? Well, 17 divided by 6 is 2 with a remainder of 5. Because 6 times 2 is 12, and then you still need 5 more to get to 17. So that's how that module works, and it keeps it within the range of this. Okay? So, and I'm going to go ahead and make a main where I make 32 flower petals. And let's see what happens. And you can see that they're beginning to have different colors, huh? I'm not particularly thrilled with some of the color order, though. I may have to play around with that. Red, green, blue, yellow, gold, yellow, orange. Well, I tell you what, we need to mix that up. So I'm going to take this blue, and I'm going to put it there. So I got red, green, gold, and you know what? I think I can go red, gold, blue, yellow, green. There we go. I still like that kind of a yellow-orangey hue, though. All right, so that's going to finish it there. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to fill it in, though. I want to make them filled in. So I'm going to say, after I choose a color, I'm going to say begin fill. And then I'm going to end fill at the end of this before I turn left to reorientate myself. I'll say end fill. And now we'll get the same kind of idea, but I hope we like the color organization a little bit better. And we'll get these things filled in. And now we're getting the pretty cool flower, aren't we? So I hope you'll experiment with different, patterns that you can do and ways that you can make geometric shapes and things like that. Because that's really fun, and that's a cool part of computer science is the making of art. I know, it seems crazy to think of the computers together with art, but they are. All right, so coming up now that we've studied functions, so we can start binding our functions to keyboard commands and really making our programs and our graphics more interactive. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. So take care.